Hey guys, this is Joe from Analog Archive, back with another video. The video today is going to be the Jazz Vinyl Tag 2024. Normally this time, the Vinyl Tag 2024 would be kind of the first video that I'd make. Still deciding on whether or not I'm going to put together a video for that, but being a big jazz collector, I wanted to jump on the Jazz Vinyl Tag 2024 that was put together by Rob from The Wax. He put together 10 prompts to answer, so I'll just go through and go kind of answer each of them. So the first one was to show a jazz album that you received as VCLT. I actually got this as VCLT from Rob, and that is Last Exit. This is self-titled. This is the first album from 19... let's see if it says on here, it's like 86, yeah, 1986. Great kind of free jazz meets like kind of harder rock. Peter Brötzmann, Sonny Sharrock, Bill Laswell, Ronald Shannon Jackson. Great group. They had a few albums, like 4 or 5 albums that came out on record, and then there was, I think, some CDs that maybe came out in like the early 90s, but again, a great kind of fusion of free jazz with kind of Sonny Sharrock's kind of hard rock guitar playing, or kind of hard rock influenced guitar playing. So that's the first one. That's Last Exit. Question number 2 was show a jazz album that you have in mono and stereo. So one of my favorite jazz albums of all time. I've shown this one. It's been a while, but I showed this one quite a few times. This is Workout, Hank Mobley. This is a stereo copy. This is a 1970 pressing on that Transition Liberty UA label, that kind of blue and whatever color you want to say, kind of like tealish color label. Had that for a while, and then one of the best records I have in my collection is this mono copy. This is a like 63 mono in like near mint condition. The vinyl is absolutely immaculate on this. Again, one of my kind of the prized pieces in my collection. So this is the mono version, 4080, the Blue Note catalog, and then this is 84080, the stereo copy. Question number 3 says to show a jazz album that you have an OG and a reissue of. This is kind of a similar, or I kind of approach this question similar to number 2, because I kind of worked out that way as well. So A Love Supreme. This is an original mono copy from 1965, A77. That's the original, and then this is the Walmart exclusive, A Love Supreme. This has the same metalwork as the Acoustic Sounds one, and for a while, especially around that time where the Acoustic Sounds pressing was out of print, this was a great and kind of cheaper way to be able to get a all analog version of A Love Supreme. So I've had this one for a few years now. It sounds pretty good for kind of what it is. I think I paid like $17 or something for that. So that's kind of the reissue of A Love Supreme. All right, so for number 4, it said to show a jazz album by an artist not known for being a jazz performer. I kind of went through my collection and I couldn't really find anything that fit that. Rob had said that you can kind of modify the questions. So a question that I kind of made it into was show a jazz album by an artist that's kind of most different from their usual catalog. So I chose Freddy Hubbard. For a long time, I collected as much of his stuff. And this is kind of an interesting kind of approach to it. He doesn't really have any other albums that are like this. This is not a Freddy Hubbard record, but he does feature as a sideman on this, and that is Ascension John Coltrane. So he features on, obviously, the trumpet. He has a solo somewhere in the mix. I don't know where his solo falls, but obviously very free jazz, much different than his usual hard bop. And then in the 70s, when he got into more of like the fusion and kind of post bop with like the CTI stuff. So that's that one. Number 5, show a jazz album that was initially shelved and issued on vinyl many years after its original recording. Came to mind immediately was Tina Brooks and the Tone Poets that came out. This is one of my favorite Tone Poets that I've picked up. This is The Waiting Game, Tina Brooks. This came out about 3, actually, yeah, I think it was about 3 years ago now. Phenomenal session. This originally was recorded March of '61, and it came out in, I think it was January of 2021. So about 60 years later, this was finally put out. Tina Brooks is one of the unfortunate kind of stories of the Blue Note kind of artists. He only had one album that came out during his lifetime. There was an album that came out in Japan like in the 80s. Some of his stuff was, I think, released in the 80s, but this actually was never released on vinyl until it came out in 2021. So that's that one. For number 6, show a jazz album that was issued as a private pressing. This is probably one of the rarest records I have in my collection. Picked this up last Christmas. This is Doggone A.D. Mimbari, maybe the name of the band, but this is Julius Hemple's Julius Hemple led record. This is on his label, which was the Mimbari. I believe that's the name of the label. Yeah, the Mimbari label. Yeah, really rare. This only 500 copies of this. Yeah, so that's a really big one that I found last year. Next question is, show a jazz album that is an excellent introduction to free jazz, avant-garde, or spiritual jazz. I've talked about this one before. This is Live at the Lighthouse, Elvin Jones. Elvin Jones definitely has a more post-bop, kind of avant-garde jazz sound to his drums, but especially the saxophone playing of Steve Grossman and Dave Liebman really bring this to a little bit beyond what a lot of the Blue Note sessions were at the time. This is from 1972, and this is, great, in my opinion, a great introduction to especially kind of avant-garde, looking for something that's pushing what you're normally hearing again from Blue Note and a lot of kind of the artists at the time, and getting more into that avant-garde type sound. So that's a good introduction, in my opinion. Question 8 said to show a jazz album that is cheap heat. I decided to pick 2. These are both in a similar vein, kind of 70s, like jazz funk. First one, I think, is really the definition of cheap heat. This is Beck, so Joe Beck, on the Kudu label, which is a subsidiary of CTI. Really great jazz funk guitar playing. If you're interested in that, you like funk, kind of jazz infused funk, and especially guitar led. This was an absolutely amazing session that I picked up last year, and then actually 2 years ago now, being 2024. The other one is Masada Joe Thomas. This is on Groove Merchant, similar to the Beck one, but this is a saxophone-led kind of jazz funk. This album is like $8 to $10. Same thing for the Joe Beck one, $10, maybe $12 at most for it. Great pickups if you do find them. This one was another one that really blew me away when I heard it. So that's Masada Joe Thomas. Number 9 said to show a jazz album you're looking forward to in 2024. Obviously, I'm not going to have anything to show, but there's an album that's coming out in a few weeks. That's a Peter Brotzman one. That is called Chicken Shit Bingo. It's going to be on Bandcamp, along with, it might be available other places, but I saw it's going to be on Bandcamp especially. Recording from a few years ago, it might be, I think it's 2015, so actually almost 10 years ago now, but being released for the first time on vinyl. And finally, number 10, jazz album that you consider a grail that you picked up in 2023. There's a lot of great free jazz, especially that I picked up this year, but kind of thinking about records that I had been looking for a while, or at least in 2023, is Topography of the Lungs, Evan Parker. I've shown this one a few times. I picked this one up at the end of October. This is on Evan Parker's label, Incus, out of the UK. Really great free jazz, very kind of monumental in the European free jazz kind of movement of the 70s. This came out in 1970. Original pressings. This is a second pressing, but the original pressing is pretty expensive, $500-600 sometimes. This is a second pressing. Got this for a good deal on Discogs. Really nice condition as well. So this was a huge pickup, one of the best, definitely, for the year. So those are the 10 questions for the Jazz Vinyl Tag 2024. Again, thank you, Rob, for putting these questions together. It's always enjoyable to do these jazz-oriented vinyl tags. As I said at the beginning of the video, I might be putting together just the normal vinyl tag video. There's kind of two different lists that are out right now, so I might put something together for that. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, appreciate the support. Hope everybody had a great kind of holiday season, Christmas, along with New Year. And I'm excited for this year. And I'll see you in the next vinyl video. Bye.